Hello, and welcome back to Straw and Pack Podcasts with me, your host, Jacko. So today I'm joined by Deborah Chitame, who's joining us from Zambia, working at Chimfunshi Orphanage, okay, for chimpanzees. So first of all, welcome, Deborah. Thank you for sparing some of your time to talk with me today. So you first start by telling us a little bit about the background of your orphanage and how it got started.
Okay, so Chimfunshi was established in 1983 by a couple named David and Sheila Sido. So David and Sheila Sido moved to Chimfunshi as farmers, like on a mission to just maybe probably retirement of some sort. So they started to rescue animals from local wildlife. And until officially, that was before 1983, but until officially in 1983, when a game ranger brought a badly wounded chimpanzee named Pal, and they took care of it. And after Pal recovered and he became well, he was 2 years by then when he was brought to Chimpunshi. Then later, after the news spread all over the world that there was a chimpanzee that was cured, and this place was declared as a chimpanzee sanctuary. So there and then, every time a chimp was rescued from different types of threats that they are facing out there, and they will be brought here and taken care of. So from then, in 1985, they created a trust with Stephen Lewis. That's where Chimfunshi Wildlife Orphanage Trust came in. And then some after 2000, it was a founding member of PASA, which is Pan African Sanctuary Alliance. And afterwards, the area started to grow as there are also other community members living. So workers are increasing, and they now have a school. In 2011, they produced a school, and so forth till now.
So Deborah, tell us how the work that you've been involved with has changed from when you started until today, and how things are expanding and how Chimfunshi is moving forward.
Well, when from the time when Chimfushi started, I think since 1983, the diversification of animals has also increased. And maybe let's say the numbers. We started with one chimpanzee and now we are at 152. And also we have rescued other birds like African gray parrots. Apparently right now we have like 24 parrots and turacos like 3. Currently at 3. And we also have other mammals that are roaming around in the area. So it's all about conserving the sanctuary as well, because we also have a lot of species, over 300 plus bird species that are there. And we are now newly approved as the pangolin sanctuary. So recently we'll be receiving pangolins as well.
All right, so we've just been joined by Misheck as well, who is struggling due to connection issues. So welcome, Misheck. So on to you. So tell us a little bit more about the background of wildlife in Zambia in terms of what species there are, perhaps some of the habitats and the threats and trends that they're facing.
Thank you so much, Jack. So Zambia is um, a country that has got diverse wildlife, if I may put it that way. We have a number of animals, and also we have a lot of space that has been dedicated to wildlife. I'm happy to mention to you that about 30% of our land is actually what we have given to the animals to enjoy. So we have about 30% of land that is the forest, the wetlands, and other things. We also have a number of animals, like the iconic ones. We have about 200 mammals, over 200 mammals. We have about 757 species of birds, the bird types, about 757. Then we also have the animals that I can identify as iconic ones. We have the lions, we have the elephants, we have zebras, we have the monkeys, and a few other animals that we have. So it's very rich in terms of that. And we also have about 3,500 flowering plants. That means we have a lot of plants that people can come and see, people need to protect, people need to conserve. So it's quite a good place that you need to visit and see the animals, you need to see the plants.
Fantastic. And what are some of the threats that they've been facing, these species, and how are things trending? So it's fantastic to hear about the 30%. That's brilliant. So on the flip side, how are things looking?
Um, Zambia is developing. We're a growing nation and we have a lot of threats to wildlife. For example, we have mining. So we are disturbing the habitat for the animals, the same animals that we are talking about, the same trees that we have, the beds that we have, they are being disturbed by human activities like mining. We also have deforestation. People are cutting down trees for survival because our source of energy, one of our sources of energy, is cutting off the trees and making what we call charcoal. So that is the energy that we use for cooking and doing other things. So people are cutting down the trees so that they can survive. Others are cutting down the trees because they want to use the same charcoal or they want to sell to other people. So it's a source of income. So there's deforestation. And also now, if I want to do my own farm, I have to expand. I have to displace a few animals that are living in those habitats because I'm expanding and I don't want to have trees. I want to have the house. I want to have other shelters that we intend to have so that we survive as human beings. So we are having human wildlife conflict because we are fighting for space. And this translates now into also the water because usually when human beings are living in one community or in one area, they don't want animals to be drinking from the same sources. So we have those conflicts. We are displacing animals where they are staying, and then animals have to move to other places where they are not maybe supposed to be staying. So those are some of the activities that are disturbing the habitats of the animals. So the species that are supposed to be staying where they're supposed to be, human activities are disturbing them. For example, in the copper belt, we have a lot of mining activities, a lot of them. So we are disturbing the real homes for the animals that we have. We are cutting down the trees for development.
Okay, and just to quickly cycle back to that 30% of land that's been set aside for wildlife, is that a recent development, or is that something that, if we look at Zambia as a whole, 30% of it is still for wildlife, or is that sort of government policy to set aside this 30%? And is that 30% part of the area that you described that's under threat?
So the 30% may not have just clear statistics because the population is now growing. I'm very sure we have even invaded into the space that was meant for wildlife. So it should be shrinking because of human activities, the development that is taking place in Zambia. So it is, to some extent, some are, what term can I use? Deliberate policies that the government has put in place where people are not allowed to go to some areas because they are reserved areas for animals. But other places, it is just because development has not gone there. Because we have a vast land and we have a few population of this country. So people cannot stay in all the places. So some places are just bush naturally, not that the government has said, no, do not stay there. But other places have been protected by the government. So they have a deliberate policy where they have put the national parks. Those areas are not supposed to be tampered with. The game reserve areas, those are not supposed to be tampered with as well. So there's natural land. Others are wetlands where people cannot do anything. There's no activity that you can do on the wetland. So that is staying just like that because it gets flooded during the rainy season because of two seasons in Zambia. So during rainy season, there's just water throughout. So no one can stay there. So those are the ones that we are calculating because animals move from one portion to the other to go and occupy that. So people cannot do activities on those lands.
Okay, fascinating. So now just bringing it back sort of locally to Chimfunshi itself. So Deborah, tell us a little bit about the chimps themselves, some of the individuals that they're looking after on a daily basis. Perhaps tell us more about their sort of behavior. I know that you work in education, so some of the tips and tricks or general rules that you have around Chimfunshi itself with dealing with the chimps?
Okay. So basically, chimpanzees are found in a group called great apes. So these are large primates with big brains. They call it big brains because they are very intelligent animals and they have a lot of similarities with humans. So the great apes is made up of only 5 great apes, which are our orangutans, the bonobos, the chimpanzees, the gorillas, and humans. And them having similarities with human, you find they also have 5 fingers, they have long arms, but they have differences also. Them having 48 chromosomes and us humans having 42 chromosomes bring up a little difference, such that for them, yes, they can use sign language, but they're not able to speak. Things like that. And the chimpanzees, I think they are one of the most, like the 3rd biggest in the world that are suffering from pet trade, because as they are young, they are really cute to keep in houses, and as they grow, people get to refuse them because they start to act really strong. Maybe they will start destroying things in the house, and that's how come they are brought here, because they are very strong. They are like 5 to 10 times stronger than humans. So when we receive pupils here, we educate them as they go in front of the chimpanzees in a certain way that they can behave. Because we may have similarities, they can be intelligent, but they may interpret certain gestures that we give them. So you'll find like sometimes the kids will be tempted to throw food at them. Our rules are that you do not throw anything at the chimpanzees, because for it, probably it will interpret like, oh, maybe it's a game or something, and it will pick up something harder and throw back at you, which will be something tricky. And also there are some things where like chimpanzees, for them, they like dominancy, portraying dominancy. And for them, naturally, you are not supposed to look straight in their eye, because for them, they'll think you're trying to challenge them. So here, they are separated from us by a wire that surrounds their enclosures. It's electrified. So when they go, we advise people not to go too close to them. Like they need to maintain a social distance from them. One, because we share more than 98% DNA. They can get diseases from them. If they go too close, a chimpanzee can grab them and maybe some accident can happen. So those are some of the rules that we tell them. And also, they have emotions, and when you are in front of them, they're advised not to make a lot of noise because they get agitated. They can yeah, probably the noise can disturb them, and because they communicate by vocalization, so they'll also start probably communicating or something. They'll think maybe there's something happening, or it's because that's how they communicate and things like that. And you find that the chimpanzees here in captivity, they can live more than up to 70 years. Because here we're taking care of them. We have vet clinic. We have a vet doctor who can check them out when they are sick. And also they are divided in groups, like in families. If we see some chimpanzees are not getting along because they are always fighting, we separate them and put them in different enclosures or groups where they can get along. Like that, you find that they are living more. But when they are in the wild where they're supposed to live, as they are not originally from Zambia. So you find like maybe in the equatorial forest or in other Western Africa areas where they come from, they fight a lot when they meet. Who wants to be the dominant, they'll have to fight. And when they start fighting, it's up to death until one dies, then they'll stop fighting. So it's a bit of a challenge. And you'll find that in the wild, they'll only live up to 40 years. And yeah, so right about now, here in Chimfunshi, we cannot allow them to reproduce because we have like 4 different subspecies of the chimpanzees, and they come from different areas. And so, in each area where they come from, it's like divided by maybe a river or something. and they cannot mix. But when they come here, sometimes they mix. So they usually put on implants for them not to make and reproduce they may produce a subspecies which we may not know how they act. So
Okay. All right. Fascinating. And now just to look a little bit more at sort of the wider vision and the ethos of Chimfunshi Orphanage. So, Misheck, could you tell us a little bit about the 3 pillars approach that you adopt? Oh, your microphone's off. Mhm.
Okay, now I'm back. Yes.
There you
Yeah.
go.
Yes. So the 3 pillars approach that we've adopted is anchored on 3 C's. So we have the 3 C's that we are using, and the major thing that we are talking about is doing things in a sustainable way. So we have the first pillar, which is Chimfunshi Sanctuary. So there we are looking at Chimfunshi as having a sanctuary where the chimpanzees are being kept and other animals that are coming that have been rescued, they are coming to us so that we help them rehabilitate and provide a good home for them. What we are looking at under this pillar is how are we looking at the chimpanzees, for example, if they come in our care? Are we providing safety? Are we providing good health for them? Do we have good living conditions for them? How enough is the space that they are living in? Are we providing the environment that they can have if they were in their natural place? Because we brought them in, we have to look at that and make sure that they have what they need. We are also under the same pillar looking at biodiversity recovery, because we are losing animals every day. We are losing plants, we are losing other things, we are losing birds and other things. It's because of the distortions that have been made in the natural habitats that the animals have. So we are trying to restore the forests. For example, we have bushfires every year in Zambia, and this is killing a lot of animals. Animals that cannot run fast. For example, if we have a tortoise, for example, if the fire is coming, it will be too quick compared to the tortoise speed. So that will die definitely. If you have smaller ants and smaller animals, they will die because of the fires. So we have measures that we are doing to prevent that from happening and making sure that biodiversity is restored to the extent that we can. The other pillar that we are looking at is the community. When you look at all these things happening or taking place or coming to reality, we need to have people. We need to engage the community. But this has to be fair. This has to be inclusive. And this has to be in a way that we are using sustainable practices as we engage the communities. Let me just tell you a bit about what we are doing to the community. We have a lot of things that we are doing. We have provided employment to the local people. About 90% are local people. When I say local, I don't mean someone that is coming from as far as 50 kilometers. No. The people that are within the same premises where Chimfunshi is operating, 90% of our workers are coming from the same community. This means that when we bring in something, for example, education to the community, we are educating them. We want them to know the importance of keeping the forests, the importance of promoting nature protection. The people that are working from Chimfunshi, they are our messengers to their families that are living closer to us. So that's a strategy that we have, that the people that are working there are coming from the local communities. And when we educate them, they are going to educate their families. They are going to educate their relatives. And they have it at heart to also protect our works, because they know my brother is working there. They know my uncle is working there. So if I do something otherwise, meaning maybe Chimfunshi might be closed and employment to the people might be compromised. When I said it is inclusive, we are not leaving out children. We are not leaving out women. We have them on board. We're educating them. Today we have a school with about 280 pupils. We have nature camps every term, meaning in our calendar, Zambian calendar, 3 times a year, where our kids are educated on conservation. They need to understand what conservation is, meaning we have protected the future because our kids are aware that conservation is very important in our lives. The adults that are there, we are going to educate them also. We have outreach programs where we're educating people. When we educate them, we are also empowering them in a way. As we speak, we are buying food from the local farmers. Also, Chimfunshi is also producing their own food. But we are buying from the local farmers. What are we telling them? We are going to buy food from people that are practicing climate smart farming. People that are practicing conservation farming are the ones that we are going to buy food from. Then they will tell us, no, we don't know how to do this. We have the workshop for them. We train them. We make sure that they are using the best practices so that we conserve nature and we make sure that things are running the way they're supposed to be run. So we are involving the community and we are providing good services to them. We have the school, we have the clinic, they are coming to our health post. So when we ask for a little from them, they do not say no. So our community, as the second pillar, it has to be fair, inclusive, and make sure that they also engage in sustainable practices in whatever they are doing. Our third pillar is conservation. We understand that conservation is very, very important, and we need to do it for this world to be even better than it is today, or to at least maintain the state that we have than destroying it going forward. As I mentioned earlier, Zambia has a lot of mines. So mining activities are destroying nature. So Chimfunshi has a corporate social responsibility. We are environmentally sensitive and we are making sure that conservation activities are done. We are also influencing other organizations to take part in this work by donating to us. They give us donations, they help us so that we bring in more people. So it is the work that we are doing. And to do this, like I mentioned, we educate people conservation. We start with our staff. We go to the communities that we have around us because Chimfunshi has about 400 people. Everyone has at the conservation work. These are our ambassadors that are going out there to speak to other people because they understand and they keep it to heart. Our school children, they're also ambassadors because the 280 pupils that we have are not all coming from Chimfunshi community. We have pupils that are coming as far as 15 kilometers, 16 kilometers. They are all sending the message to the outside. So the conservation strategy that we have, we are managing the resources that we have. We are restoring the ecosystem. We are educating the people. We are protecting nature that we have under our care. And we are understanding all the threats that are there, and we are trying to put measures so that we don't let this wildlife get damaged by the activities that human beings are trying to bring across. So it's the three-pillar approach of 3 C's. Chimfunshi sanctuary for the animals. We also have community. We involve people to help us and also conserve nature that we have. That's the third one, conservation.
Fantastic. Deborah, back to you now. Do you mind telling us? So, of course, Misheck has shared some of the wider vision there and some of the activities that Chimfunshi is involved with, particularly with local communities, with children, and others. What are some of the wider conservation strategies that Chimfunshi has been adopting and is involved with some of the more, or some of the species that are in the surrounding area or wider?
Conservation strategies.
Uh-huh.
Well, many conservation strategies, it's basically focusing on restoring the 10,000 hectares of land that is part of it. Probably we can suffer from deforestation, charcoal burning, making sure the communities, we're sensitizing the communities to make sure they don't do charcoal burning in the community areas. And also, like Mr. Misheck mentioned, we are holding nature camps every year to educate the pupils so that they understand their conservation, the conservation area that they are living in. They know that every little animal, every little creeping thing plays a role in the ecosystem. So as they are growing with it. Because in the same area where the workers are coming from, some of them were formerly poachers, but because of the learning and education that they are getting, conservation education, they are learning also to protect the area. We are having now the anti-poaching units, using the local people, where they have some patrols in one way or the other to go around checking for wire snares. They are now using some camera traps to check around what other species that we have, so that we can continue with the conservation strategy also with them, to know which other species are we supposed to protect in this area. And apparently the research also that has been going on, we have discovered like over 350 species of birds. Because of the bird survey that has been going on, we have over 350 species of birds around. So we have surveys, researchers. We receive researchers also from all over the world that do some research on Chimfunshi land, on some apes on around the area. They come with camera traps to try to find out what else we see. And we have found that we have also mammals like the jackals. We have common duikers, bushbucks, and things like that.
Great.
And that is helping.
Fantastic. So, Misheck, back to you. Tell me about Horizon 2030.
I'll still get back to the 3 C's that we have.
Okay.
That is our vision. Today, as we speak, we are moving forward and we are doing a great job.
Brilliant. So, if things continue to expand and do well, what could you see, or how could things be looking for your work, and how it's expanded upon the 3 C's towards 2030 and beyond?
I see better things coming, and I see Chimfunshi being one of the ambassadors or the pillars where people will be looking forward to and emulate our work that we are doing in terms of conservation. I'm sure maybe Deborah mentioned in one of the responses that she was giving, our collaborations with the local government here in Zambia, like our government, the Zambian government. We are cooperating with the Department of National Parks and Wildlife, which is the department that is making sure that conservation of wildlife is protected. The wildlife is protected and conservation works are going on very well. For example, if we have seen that someone has a rabbit monkey and it is not supposed to be in their custard, sometimes it's difficult because we are just an NGO. We are not an enforcement agent of the government. So we have to engage the NWP, which is the government department that is responsible of doing that. When they confiscate, they can give to us. We are also associating with other NGOs within Zambia that are working to promote conservation. We are also on the international scene. We are working with PASA, the Pan African Sanctuaries Alliance, to make sure that the strategies of conservation are put in the good way that it is supposed to be. We are also cooperating with the Jane Goodall Institute to just make sure that the things are flowing and moving in the right direction. So if we continue with our 3 C's of the Chimfunshi Sanctuary, community involvement, engagement, consulting with the communities, a lot of efforts in the conservation that is protecting and restoring biodiversity, I think I can see maybe the copper belt being a source of conservation education in Zambia, which can even go outside. I think we are not very broad in terms of going outside. We are dealing with our local communities, but I think the coverage is going to be too big, and we are going to continue, like for chimpanzees, I think taking care of them, restoring their lost, I don't know if I can say, lost happiness or whatever, because they have been through a lot. When we bring them in, they are happy. We bring them back to their normal lives. I think that is a continuous thing. But on the community engagement, this is where I'm seeing it happening in a way that everyone around us will understand that conservation works or the works that Chimfunshi is doing is a very, very good thing. end, they are going to join. We are going to join hands, and conservation is going to be a very easy job because we have involved people and people are involving people. In the end, everyone gets to be involved.
Fantastic. And finally, Deborah, where can people find Chimfunshi online to get involved, to perhaps visit or donate?
Okay. So if you search www.chimfunshywildlife.org, you find yourself, I'm sure two chimfunshis will pop up. There's one with the red sign and the other one with the green echo. So, can you get me?
Yeah, sorry, yeah, I think the connection is restabilized. Yep, go ahead.
Website for Chimfunshi with green letters, and you'll be able to read on the page. And right at the bottom, you'll find a button which says donate. If you want to donate or contact us, the contact is there. You can catch us on WhatsApp or the website.
Fantastic. So, Deborah and Misheck, thank you so much for your time. It's been wonderful speaking with you, and I look forward to sharing your work.
Thank you so much, Jack, for the opportunity. We are happy. We are very grateful, and we hope to have another opportunity like this one so that we share our work with the rest of the world.